I'm 78 years old with the body of a 30-year-old, and I'd trade every single ounce of this muscle just to have my wife look at me with love one last time. But she can't. And my children, well, they won't even answer the phone. I sit here in this leather chair looking at these arms. The veins are popping out, the skin is tight. Doctors tell me I'm a medical marvel. But let me tell you the truth. I'm not a marvel. I'm a lonely old fool who fell in love with the reflection and forgot about the people standing right behind him. It's quiet in this house. Too quiet. Just the ticking of the clock and the sound of my own breathing. I've spent a fortune on this shell. Thousands upon thousands of dollars on personal trainers, top-tier nutritionists, supplements that tasted like chalk and chemicals. I built a temple, you see, but I forgot to put anyone inside it. I can remember exactly when the madness started, clear as day. I wasn't always this Adonis. Back in school, I was the big kid, and not the good kind of big, the cruel kind. The other boys, kids, can be so vicious, can't they? They used to corner me behind the bleachers. "Here comes the whale," they'd shout. "Watch out or the lard will get you." It ate away at me, completely destroyed me inside. I'd go home and cry into my pillow until I was sick. I felt worthless, just a lump of space that nobody wanted. One morning, I woke up and I snapped. I said, never again. I dragged myself to a local gym. It was a dusty old place, smelled of sweat and rust. At first, it was torture. I couldn't lift a can of beans, let alone a dumbbell. I was sweating, panting, people looking at me, but I didn't stop. But the voices, they didn't just come from the schoolyard. No, the sharpest knives were thrown right in my own kitchen. My mom, God rest her soul, she didn't mean to be cruel, I suppose, but she sure knew exactly how to hurt me. I remember coming home from school, famished, looking for anything to fill the hole in my stomach. I'd open the fridge and she'd be there, leaning against the sink, arms folded, that look already on her face. She'd look at me with this heavy sigh. You know the one? The sigh of disappointment. "At it again, are you?" she'd say. "Honestly, look at the state of you. You're eating us out of house and home, boy. Do you have any idea how much that food cost? Your father breaks his back working, and you just sit there and swallow it all whole." She'd shake her head, muttering about how I was a financial burden and a bottomless pit. She thought she was teaching me discipline, but what she was really doing was teaching me to hate myself. I started to believe her. I thought, I'm just a waste of space. I'm just a mouth that costs money. So I stopped going out. I didn't have buddies. I didn't go to the school dances or at the park. I just lay in my room staring at the ceiling, ashamed to exist. But the spark, the thing that really lit the fuse, that was Mary. Oh, Mary. She was the prettiest girl in our year. I'd had a huge crush on her for months. I convinced myself that maybe, just maybe, she'd see past the size of me. I plucked up every ounce of courage I had. I walked up to her by the school gates, my palms sweating, my heart hammering like a trapped bird. "Mary," I stammered, "I was wondering, would you like to go to the pictures with me on Saturday?" The silence seemed to last forever. She looked me up and down, slowly, deliberately, like she was inspecting a piece of rotten fruit. Then she laughed. A high, cruel laugh that cut right through me. "Go out with you?" she said loud enough for everyone to hear. Don't be daft. I don't want to be crushed to death, do I? You take up 2 seats. The whole crowd erupted. The laughter. It felt like physical blows. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole. That was it. The final straw. The moment everything changed. That's when I dragged myself to that dusty gym. And let me tell you, the beginning was hell on earth. I was weak. I was heavy. People stared. I could feel their eyes burning into the back of my sweaty t-shirt. Look at the fatty trying to run, their eyes said. But I had Mary's laugh in my head. I had my mother's sigh in my ears. And I used it. I used the hate as fuel. I got a job as soon as I could, stacking crates in a warehouse. Hard labor, back-breaking work. But I didn't spend my paycheck on beers or girls or clothes. No, every single penny went into me. I hired a personal trainer, a guy who looked like he was carved out of granite. I couldn't really afford him, but I paid him anyway. I remember putting on my pants one morning, and they didn't just fit, they fell down. I had to cinch the belt 3 notches tighter. I looked in the mirror, and for the first time, I didn't see the well. I saw a jawline. I saw shoulders. I walked out the front door, chest puffed out, and Mrs. Higgins from next door, a real old gossip, she stopped dead in her tracks. "My word, John," she gasped. "Is that you? You're wasting away, boy, but in a good way. You look real handsome." That sentence, real handsome, it hit me like a drug. It was better than any chocolate, better than any comfort food. It was validation. It was power. My self-esteem, which had been in the gutter, started to rise like a phoenix. I wasn't the fat kid anymore. I was becoming something else, something people admired. When I turned 18, I joined the Army, signed up voluntarily. Best decision and worst decision of my life, all rolled into one. And if I thought I was obsessed before, the Army turned me into a machine. Life in the barracks, it separates the men from the boys. While the other guys were at the PX, drinking beer, playing cards, eating burgers and getting soft, I was in the gym every spare minute. I did push-ups until my arms screamed. I ran until my lungs burned. I wanted to be the strongest, the fittest, the one nobody could ever hurt again, and it worked. The other soldiers, they stopped seeing me as a recruit. They started looking at me with envy. "Look at the state of him," they'd whisper in the showers. "He's built like a tank." My ego, it grew bigger than my biceps. I loved the feeling of being superior. I'd look at them, hung over, soft round the middle, and I'd feel this rush of power. I was better than them. I was disciplined. I was a god amongst mortals. When I came out of the Army, I was in the prime of my life. That's when I met Sarah. She was wonderful, quiet, kind, with a smile that could light up a room. And the funny thing was, she didn't care about the muscles. She liked me for me. She liked that I was hardworking, but I couldn't understand that. In my head, the only reason anyone liked me was because of the body I had built. We got married. We settled down. We had 2 beautiful boys. It should have been the happy ending, shouldn't it? But the gym, it wasn't a hobby anymore. It was a sickness. It was a compulsion I couldn't control. As the years went on, I became a tyrant in my own home. Sarah loved to cook. It was her way of showing love. She'd make these incredible Sunday dinners, pot roast, gravy, and warm biscuits. the house would smell like heaven. And I would sit there at the head of the table with a plastic tub of boiled chicken and steamed broccoli. No salt, no sauce. I can't eat that poison, Sarah, I'd say, pointing at the food she'd spent hours preparing. Look at the fat on that. Do you want me to look like a whale again? Is that what you want? I forced her to cook separate meals for me. I had rules. So many rules. She was raising 2 kids, cleaning the house, exhausted, and on top of that, she had to be a personal chef for my ego. I missed everything. Dad, come throw the football, my youngest would yell, tugging at my arm. Can't, son, I'd say, looking at myself in the hallway mirror, tensing my chest. Daddy's got leg day later. Need to rest the central nervous system. Dad, come watch the school play. Can't, honey. It clashes with my meal timing. I wasn't there. I was a ghost who haunted the house, eating protein and sleeping. Sarah was lonely. She was drowning. She tried to tell me. John, she'd say, late at night, this isn't normal. You're obsessed. It's a disease. Please, talk to someone. But I wouldn't listen. How could it be a disease? I had a 6-pack. I was the picture of health. She was the one with the problem, I told myself. She was just jealous of my discipline. And then the attention started to go to my head. I was in my 40s, looking 30. The young girls at the gym, the ones in the tight spandex, they started noticing me, not with disgust like Mary did all those years ago, but with hunger. They'd giggle when I walked past. They'd ask for advice on their squats, touching my arm, telling me I looked better than guys half my age. It was like a match thrown onto dry straw. My ego caught fire and burnt everything in its path. I started to think, I deserve this. I've worked hard for this body. Sarah, she's boring. She's just a mom. She doesn't understand me. I started crossing lines. A coffee after the gym, then a drink. Then, well, I was living a double life. I'd come home late, smelling of expensive soap from the gym showers, or worse, someone else's perfume, and I'd lie straight to Sarah's face. Extra session, babe. Gotta keep the gains. She knew. A wife always knows. But she was tired. She was raising 2 boys practically on her own while her husband was out playing the stud. Instead of feeling guilty, I turned it on her. I made her the enemy to justify my own selfishness. I remember one evening vividly. Sarah was getting out of the shower. She wrapped a towel around herself. She'd had 2 children. Her body was soft. It was real. But to me, in my twisted mind, it was a failure. I stood there, shirtless, veins popping, and I sneered at her. You know, Sarah, I said, my voice cold as ice, you could stand to lose a few pounds yourself. You've really let yourself go. It's embarrassing, honestly. Walking down the street with me looking like this, and you looking like that. She froze. I saw the tears well up in her eyes, hot and fast. When? She whispered, her voice shaking. When do I have time, John? I'm looking after your children. I'm cleaning your house. I'm cooking your separate meals. I'm too busy being a father to your sons because you're too busy looking in the mirror. I didn't care. I felt superior. I thought I was the prize. When she finally left, it wasn't with a scream. It was with a silence so heavy, it felt like it would crush the house. I came home one day and her coats were gone. The boys' toys were gone. The photos were gone. And you know what my first thought was? It wasn't, what have I done? It wasn't grief. It was relief. I thought, good, finally. No more nagging. No more guilt trips. Now I can train whenever I want. Now I can find someone who actually appreciates a masterpiece like me. I moved in with one of the girls from the gym. She was 25 years younger than me. We had a flashy life for a few years. We even had a child together, a little girl. I thought, this is it. I've won at life. But you can't build a home on vanity, man. It's like building a castle on quicksand. As soon as I got a bit older, as soon as the novelty wore off, as soon as I couldn't keep up the party lifestyle, she got bored. She didn't love me. She loved the image of me. She left too, took my daughter, moved to another city, and that's when the silence started. The years rolled on. The weights got heavier, but the house got emptier. My boys grew up. They became men, fathers themselves, and I wasn't there for any of it. Last Christmas, I think that was the moment it truly broke me. I was sitting here in this leather chair, alone, eating my turkey breast and steamed veg out of a plastic tub. No decorations. Why bother? I picked up the phone. My hand was shaking. I dialed Jamie's number, my eldest, the one who used to beg me to throw the football. He answered, and his voice, it was deep, strong. It sounded like a stranger's voice, not the little boy I remembered holding that football. I tried to keep it steady, stammering out a "Merry Christmas, son," but the silence on the other end was so cold, it completely froze the blood in my veins. I could hear life in the background, children laughing, a TV on, the sounds of a real home, my grandchildren. Then he spoke, and his tone was flat, careful. He asked me the one thing I wasn't ready for. He simply asked, "Why are you calling?" I panicked. I started rambling, asking about the kids, just begging for a scrap of connection. But Jamie didn't let me get far. He stopped me dead. He didn't even shout, which made it worse. He just said the words that are burnt into my memory forever. He said, "They don't know you. And honestly, I don't want them to. You made your choice, Dad. You chose the gym. You chose yourself. You never gave us a minute of your time when we needed you. Why should we give you ours now? We're eating dinner, as a family. Don't call again." And he hung up. The click of the phone line going dead, it sounded like a gunshot in this quiet room. I sat there for hours, just staring at the silent handset in my lap. The sun went down, the room got dark, and I didn't even turn on a lamp. I just sat there in the gloom, listening to the ticking of that grandfather clock in the hall. Tick, tock, tick, tock, counting down the time I have left. Eventually, I stood up. My knees clicked. Even medical marvels get old joints, you see. I walked into the hallway. I stood in front of that same full-length mirror, the one where I used to preen and pose while my boys begged for my attention. I turned on the hall light, and I looked at myself. Really looked. I saw the definition. I saw the striations in the muscle. I saw the veins running like rivers down my forearms. I saw the work of 60 years of discipline. I saw a physical specimen that men half my age would kill for. But for the first time in my life, I didn't see a god. I saw a cage. I touched the glass, and the realization hit me so hard I nearly fell over. All of this, is just a costume. It's a shell. It's a rental vehicle that God lends us for 70, maybe 80 years if we're lucky. It wrinkles, it sags, it breaks, and eventually it rots in the ground just the same as the wells. body would have. The worms won't care that I had 5% body fat. They won't care about my bench press record. But the love, the memories of playing catch in the park, the Sunday dinners with the family laughing around the table, the hand holding yours when you're sick and scared, that's the gold. That's the only wealth there is in this world. And look at me. I'm a pauper. I am spiritually bankrupt. I spend a fortune on this body, but I can't hug it. It can't tell me it loves me. It can't comfort me when I'm lying here at night, terrified of dying alone in this big, empty house. I traded my life for a reflection, and the reflection can't love me back. So, if you're listening to me, please, don't just hear the words. Feel them. Take a warning from a lonely old fool who learnt the lesson too late. If you're skipping dinner with your family tonight to measure your macros on a plastic scale, put the scale away. Eat the cake. Taste the sweetness of the moment. If you're ignoring your wife to flirt with some young thing at the gym because it makes you feel like a man, wake up. Being a man isn't about how many women look at you. It's about not letting down the one woman who looks out for you. If your kid wants to play ball, put the dumbbells down. The gym will be there tomorrow. It'll be there in 10 years. Your children's childhood won't. It goes like a blink of an eye. Don't wait until you're 78, sitting in a silent room, wishing you could go back and eat the cold meatloaf your wife made you. Because one day, you might have the perfect body, the perfect abs, the perfect arms, and absolutely nobody to hold your hand when the lights go out. I think I'm going to try and call Jamie again tomorrow. Maybe he won't answer. Maybe he will. But I have to try, don't I? While I've still got breath in these lungs. Anyway, look at me, rambling on. Thank you, truly. Thank you for listening to an old man's regrets. It helps, you know. Just saying it out loud to someone makes the house feel a little less empty for a few minutes. I'd love to know, be honest with me, does any of this ring a bell? Are you chasing the mirror too? Write it down there in the comments. Let's talk about it. All right then, go on. Go hug your families while you can. Until next time.